A boy is born to Polish-American parents. At first glance, he seemed ordinary, but soon he showed exceptional abilities in school. At just 10 years old, his IQ was measured at 167, and he skipped straight to high school. He continued to excel academically, and at the age of 16, he matriculated at Harvard College as a mathematics prodigy. In his second year at Harvard, participated in a study led by Harvard psychologist Henry Murray. But this was no ordinary study. It was a psychological experiment designed to completely shatter Kaczynski's sense of self and confidence. His anger and violence grew, and from 1978 onward, he murdered 3 people and injured 23 others over 18 years. This is the story of Theodore John Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, the math genius who terrorized the nation with a series of bombings for nearly 2 decades. But what if I told you the psychological experiment that drove this genius to madness was actually orchestrated by the CIA? Let's dive into the dark secrets behind this twisted story. In the 1950s and 60s, strange rumors began circulating in the United States. Whispers suggested that the government, particularly the CIA, was conducting experiments on its own citizens, attempting to manipulate and control their minds through hypnosis and brainwashing. At the time, most people dismissed these tales as mere urban legends, the stuff of conspiracy theories better suited for the silver screen. But in 1974, a shocking exposé by the New York Times revealed that the rumors were, in fact, true. What emerged was an extraordinary scandal, the MK-Ultra project. On April 13, 1953, the MK-Ultra project officially began with the approval of Allen Dulles, the 5th director of the CIA. MK was the CIA's internal code for operations involving espionage tools, disguises, and cryptography, while Ultra referred to top-secret information. Though the name alone doesn't give much away, the project's goal was simple: to identify and develop drugs that could alter human behavior. Specifically, they aimed to find ways to pressure and brainwash subjects into giving forced confessions. Why was the CIA so fixated on such experiments? This had a lot to do with the Cold War environment at the time. After World War II, the US and the Soviet Union were locked in an ideological battle, with each side promoting democracy or communism. This resulted in an ongoing spy war, as both nations tried to extract valuable information from each other's agents. The problem was that when spies were captured, getting them to confess wasn't as easy as expected. No matter how much pressure was applied, trained spies remained tight-lipped, and some even returned brainwashed by the enemy. When it was revealed that many American soldiers captured during the Korean War had been exposed to Soviet brainwashing techniques, the CIA became highly interested in mind control. They believed that if they could control someone's mind, it would give them a significant advantage not just in spy warfare, but in many other areas as well. The ambitious question was, what if we could use brainwashing to convert communists to democracy? This bold plan eventually led to the MK-Ultra project. One of the main methods used for hypnosis and brainwashing was psychoactive drugs, especially LSD. LSD is a drug with extremely strong hallucinogenic effects, and interrogations using it were already being carried out openly around the world before the 1950s. In the early 1940s, Nazi scientists in Germany had conducted human experiments on prisoners of war in an attempt to develop a truth serum that would strip away a person's will. The CIA also conducted similar experiments with projects like Project Bluebird and Operation Artichoke. Under MK-Ultra, the CIA gave subjects LSD to see if it could make them confess, or if brainwashed individuals could be manipulated to unconsciously commit acts of assassination. However, the problem was that these experiments were conducted without the subjects' consent. Many of the participants didn't even know they were part of the experiment, and some were unaware of the serious health risks they faced. This experiment was conducted in absolute secrecy. The test subjects were primarily prisoners of war, inmates, patients in mental institutions, and addicts. Later on, even soldiers, doctors, and fellow CIA agents were used as subjects. In many cases, ordinary citizens unknowingly became part of the experiment. The scale of these inhumane tests was staggering. Between 1953 and 1964, the project consisted of 162 sub-projects, with the CIA involving more than 80 research institutions and around 185 individuals who were directly or indirectly complicit in the operations. Theodore Kaczynski was also part of this project. Dr. Murray had deep connections with the CIA, dating back to its predecessor, the OSS. The chilling part is that neither Kaczynski nor Murray knew the true nature of the experiments they were part of. In one case, known as Project Midnight Climax, the CIA set up a series of specialized brothels to lure unsuspecting men and secretly drug them with LSD-laced alcohol. These unwitting subjects were then observed through a one-way mirror, referred to as the magic mirror. Some test subjects volunteered for the experiments under CIA agreements, but they were often subjected to even more extreme conditions. For example, 7 African-American addicts at the National Institute of Mental Health in Kentucky were forced to take LSD continuously for 77 days. The MK Ultra project, which spanned over a decade, carried out numerous unethical experiments, yet it failed to produce any significant breakthroughs. Results were inconsistent, largely due to the varied factors such as personality and upbringing of the subjects. The CIA used not only drugs, but also electrical shocks, light, sound, radiation, and any form of stimuli they could devise. They even resorted to invasive surgeries, both internal and external. The relentless, inhumane experiments led many subjects to suffer from amnesia or display bizarre behaviors, such as confusing their interrogators with their parents. After the experiments concluded, many of the subjects were brainwashed into taking their own lives. In 1964, the CIA officially halted the MK Ultra project. Nearly a decade later, in 1973, the Watergate scandal sent political shockwaves across the United States. In response to the growing turmoil, then CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all documents related to the ongoing projects. However, the truth has a way of surfacing. In 1974, a New York Times expose revealed some of the horrifying details of these human experiments. With the American government's credibility already shattered by Watergate, the public outrage was immense. To quell the anger, the government issued a formal apology and launched a special commission, led by Vice President Rockefeller, to investigate illegal activities within federal agencies. Despite these efforts, a full investigation was impossible. Most of the records had been destroyed, leaving the true scope of the experiments unknown. But in 1977, the discovery of around 20,000 previously overlooked documents shed light on certain aspects of the project. Even so, the victims never received the justice or compensation they deserved. MK Ultra continues to have a profound influence on popular culture today. It has been the subject of numerous TV shows, films, and music, and remains a central theme in various conspiracy theories. But could a project like MK Ultra still be secretly conducted in the present day? It seems unlikely. If such experiments were still ongoing, the CIA would not have destroyed so much of the evidence. While this horrific experiment ultimately ended in failure, it ruined countless lives and left wounds that have yet to heal, even decades later. Yet the debate lingers. Could similar experiments still exist? The possibility remains a point of contention. This was Mystic Shadow.